Hello everybody and welcome to Valley Life. I am Rich Krebs and we've got another exciting Wells Fargo Friday edition coming to you, and we like to point out the amazing volunteerism that Wells Fargo employees are jumping in on to help out around the community, but that also means then we've got to point out the great things that are happening in our community. One of them would be the Fresno County Economic Opportunities Commission. So I want to get a little bit of the background and the structure a little bit, and we'll kind of get into the nuts and bolts of what makes this work. Mr. Brian Angus, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. Frank Franco, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Well, Brian, as CEO of this operation, you take great pride in making sure that everything is greased and the wheels are all turning properly, because this is an amazing impact on our community. Give me a little background of what Economic Opportunities Commission is all about.
Well, we were founded in 1965. We grew out of the Economic Opportunity Act of 1965, which created community action agencies. So we're one of 1,060 community action agencies in the country. Community action agencies are unique in our board structure. 1/3 of our board is made up of elected officials or the representatives. 1/3 of our board comes from the community, and 1/3 of our board is directly elected from low-income areas of the county. So that's kind of, and community action, is a history that goes back to the civil rights movement. I mean, our history is really tied in '64 when Johnson sent the Economic Opportunity Act up to Congress. He also included, the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. So we have a history that's grounded not just in human services or social services, but in social justice and trying to make this a better community and a better society to live in.
Sure, and in being part of the social services, the main thing is to give people the opportunity to get back on their feet and contribute back to society and feel, like an integral part of making this work.
That's right, and this agency's been very successful at it. There's 1,060 agencies in the country. This agency, if not the largest, is one of the largest agencies. So we've done a good job. We've used our CSBG money well in investing and trying to create programs with it. So the agency's 1,250 employees, over $100 million, and we do many different things, from Head Start and early Head Start to seniors and foster grandparent programming and everything in between.
Well, the great work that you've been, since they put you in the helm almost 2 years ago, making this happen, you thought, I'm going to bring Frank with me, though, because that's a man that knows a little bit about the history of the program.
Right. I know history. I know the history of community action. Frank knows the history of the agency.
All right. Well, Frank, let's talk a little bit about our immediate community. Give me a little history of how this has all come to be.
This particular station here that we're at started back with the sanctuary. The sanctuary, we would bring children or young adults in from the streets, and they were referred to us, and we'll take them off the street, and we would work with them and try to reunite them with the families or back to education or whatever we could. We found that after they turned 18 years old, there was no place for these young people to go. So we decided, or the board decided, that they needed to develop a transitional living center, but we don't call it that. We call it TLC, Tender Loving Care.
Perfect.
So this allows our young people at the age of 18 not to be thrown back out in the street and everything they had been given taken away again. These young people came to us, and we got a facility as such, and then from here we've grown to 2 others, so we got transitional 3. Hopefully we'll be able to do 4 because the need is out there. Once we brought the young people here, they learn how to use their money. They know living styles and living crafts and this type of thing. They get to reunite with their children again. And many of them have offenses, minors offenses, but they work with those and they get their education. Many of them graduate and continue further education at Fresno State and such. So. Sure. It's a great thing. Like I said, tender loving care.
Right. Well, what you've seen in your experience with the program, too, is that if people are done at 18 and they're out on the streets, if there's no other hope for them, that's it for a lot of these folks. Now you see them come back, and all of a sudden you look, just amazing adults that are making things happen.
It's amazing adults, but, they never forget where they came from. And they're able to express that to the other young children out there. And that's what EOC is all about. Start the fire and it'll continue.
Sure.
And the heartfelt gratitude that they have, they bring others into us, and we're able to help them. Fresno has a hidden community of homeless children out there that none of us hear about, and EOC is very well aware of what we have out there, and we try to bring them in and try to find a home for them.
We talk about a lot of the people, too, once they're past 18, not having the ability then to even help themselves. A lot of them with children then have nowhere to turn to help their children. So this just keeps the process from repeating itself when all of a sudden everyone comes together and they all grow.
It's a good growth, though. It's a good growth. You see people graduating, shall we say, but they graduate to better things in life. Life is there for them. We have assisted them, not did it for them. We assist them in getting there.
Sure. Well, Brian, that's a great point that he brings up, that it's not just spoon feeding someone, it's helping them help themselves.
Right. It's even it's even one step further than that. I mean, it is helping people help themselves. That's what community action has been all about from the beginning. It was actually Sergeant Shriver that said a hand up, not a handout, for the first time when he was describing community action. But it's helping people help themselves and each other. So it's helping people. Once you start that path forward, and once you start moving to self-sufficiency, it's not just leaving people behind, it's turning around and seeing who's in the path behind you that you can also help. Because to be self-sufficient, or to be a quality quality contributing member of society, it's not just about being for yourself, it's about being part of the community and giving back and doing things in the community. And whether that's working with your faith community in your church, or whether it's working in a sports league, or whether it's coming back and volunteering with a place like Sanctuary. It's about being part of a community as much as it is being just a self-sufficient family.
Sure. Well, gentlemen, don't go anywhere, and you folks stay put. We're going to be right back, too, with another amazing Wells Fargo volunteer that has really gotten involved in this, taking it to be his own. We're going to talk about his story when Valley Life returns with another Wells Fargo Friday.